Hello you two. This is probably going to be my final video of reading stories to you, even though I will be doing the blog next week, so I'll leave a little video to explain what's going on with the blog there. Now I thought I'd do something a little bit different, and I thought I would share with you my collection of my all-time favourite children's book. Now those of you that know me know that I love Disney, and this book was created into a Disney film, and it's one of my favorites. And I love this book because it's so strange. It's completely using your imagination. The author has used his imagination and gone absolutely crazy, and it shows that even when it's something different and when you can use your imagination, you can create absolutely anything you want. So it's a bit of a strange, mad story. I wonder if any of you can guess what you think that might be. I'm going to tell you now anyway. It is Alice in Wonderland. Now I've got a bit of a collection of books for Alice in Wonderland, and that's why I've recorded this video on my phone, because I want to be able to move it around and share with you some of my favourite books that I've got over the years. So if I turn you around, this is my collection. I've pulled one out. This is the one that I'm going to show you and read a little bit to you. But I've got my collection of Alice in Wonderland books here. That's not a book, that is a box. I've got some of my statues, my Disney traditions, and then I've got some more books here. Now these books at the end are some of the very oldest books, and these are just storybooks. So you can tell by the front cover how old they are. So this is a really old version. And when you open it up, you can see how old and how carefully you have to look after it. And they're all of these books are the same story of Alice in Wonderland. There are actually two books. There's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland and then Through the Looking Glass. I've even got one here that is in a different language. I wonder if any of you can figure out what language that might be in. Some of them are slightly different. So this one here is an adult version of Alice. So it's a slightly different story. What else have I got? This one's really interesting as well. This is a different language. And it's called Pitman's Shorthand. And if I show you some of the language in here, look at that. So it's the same story again, but it's completely different language here. So I found that one really interesting. As you can see, it's a bit of an older version as well. So I love collecting the Alice in Wonderland books, and if I ever go to different places or go to a bookshop or anything, then I always make sure that I have a look to see if there's a different version. So ones that I've got here, so the complete Alice, that's my big version of it. So this also has lots of pictures, and it also has some other different poems and things that the author has written. I wonder if any of you know the author and can put that in the blog post. And my main thing that I really like in all these books are the illustrations. So this one is just absolutely beautiful. And then this one is slightly different again because it is a puzzle book. And then we've got some colouring books as well. Some of you might have some of these. But it's all the different versions of it. And again, look, slightly different. Some of them are massive books, and the story is quite small itself. So the one that I've chosen to have a look at a bit more closely is this one here. So this is Lewis Carroll's Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. The characters on the front, you can see Alice herself. So I love these illustrations. They're slightly different, slightly quirky. And you've got the Mad Hatter there. So if we have a look, and I'll show you some of it. I'm going to take you over to the table now so that we can open it properly and have a look. And I've actually got something special on the table that I've set up as well, because this is a version of Alice in Wonderland that Mrs Worth gave me. Now, she gave me this ages and ages ago, and I don't know if she would remember, but she's not a very big fan of Alice in Wonderland, and she knows how much I love it. So she actually let me have it, which is really, really nice of her. And as you can see, it's like a big pop-up theatre. And it is absolutely amazing. And you've got all the different pieces down here. And you could tell the story, if you know it well enough, you could actually tell the story of Alice in Wonderland through the pages. And I thought that that was absolutely amazing. You've got the Cheshire Cat at the top there as well. So I set that up so that you could have a look at that. So let's have a look at Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Oh, sorry for that scraping noise. That was me opening the chair. Now, the reason why I like this book is because it's got some really nice pop-up bits and little tabs that you can pull. So I'll be able to do those as we go. So who's who in Wonderland? So this is all the characters, and it gives you a little bit of an introduction to the characters. So we've got Alice, an intrepid girl with a sense of adventure. I wonder if you could find out what the word intrepid means. Cheshire Cat, a grinning feline that can vanish at will. Queen of Hearts, a fiery ruler with a soft spot for the chopping block. Caterpillar, a stern creature often found on magical mushrooms. Mad Hatter, a curious fellow for whom it is always tea time. Dormouse, a snoozy rodent often used as a cushion. The March Hare, a friend of the Hatter's, he went mad last March. The King of Hearts, a tentative ruler overshadowed by his wife. Duchess, a sharp-tongued, alarming aristocrat. And White Rabbit, a servant of the Duchess. He is always in a hurry. So you might start to recognise some of those characters from the Disney film. So Lewis Carroll is the author. Alice's Adventures in Wonderland is the title. And this version is retold by Harriet Caster and illustrated by Zdenko Basic. So already, look, we're having to turn the page. Look how beautiful these illustrations are. My name is Alice, and I am 7.5 years old exactly. Yesterday, a friend of Father's called Mr. Lewis Carroll took us on a boat trip down the river. On the way, he told the magical story, and I half believe it really did happen. Let me tell it to you. Alice was beginning to get very tired of sitting by her sister on the riverbank and of having nothing to do. The hot day made her feel sleepy and stupid. Once or twice she peeped into the book her sister was reading, but it had no pictures or conversations in it. And what is the use of a book, thought Alice, without pictures or conversations? Suddenly a white rabbit with pink eyes ran close by her. There was nothing so very remarkable in that. But when the rabbit said to itself, "Oh dear, I shall be too late," and actually took a watch out of his waistcoat pocket, Alice sprang to her feet. She ran after it and was just in time to see it pop down in a large rabbit hole under the hedge. In an instant, Alice dived into the hole after the rabbit, never once considering how she was going to get out. The hole went straight on like a tunnel for some way and then dipped suddenly down. So suddenly that Alice had not a moment to think about stopping herself before she was falling down what seemed to be a very deep well. Either the well was very deep, or she fell very slowly, for she had plenty of time to look about her as she went. First she tried to look down, but it was too dark to make anything out. Then she looked at the sides of the walls, sides of the well, and noticed that they were filled with cupboards and shelves. Here and there she saw maps and pictures hung upon pegs. There she is, falling down the well. Down, down, down. Would the fall never come to an end? There was nothing else to do, so Alice soon began talking to herself. Dinah, my dear, I wish you were here down here with me. Dinah was her cat. There are no mice in the air, I'm afraid, but you might catch a bat, and that's very like a mouse, you know. But do cats eat bats, I wonder? And here Alice began to get rather sleepy. Do cats eat bats? And sometimes do bats eat cats? For you see, as she couldn't answer either question, it didn't much matter which way she put it. Then suddenly, thump, thump, down she came upon a heap of dry leaves, and the fall was over. And there she is. Now, I'm not going to have time to read the whole of this story, but there's a few. Thought I would share a lot of the pages. So I wonder if you can remember or guess what has happened in this one. Now, this is one of my particular favourites. So here is where she has shrunk down, and I believe she ate a bit of a cake or a bit of a cookie, and she shrunk right down. Or did she drink a bit of a potion that made her smaller? And then here, if you watch this is really cool, is where she grew really big. And you can pull the tabs and see how big and small she gets. So there's loads of exciting things in this book. And if you would like to carry on reading Alice in Wonderland, I'm sure you could borrow it from the library. Like I said before, it is one of my favourite books, favourite children books. It is rather strange. It is a rather strange story. And Lewis Carroll definitely used his imagination. But it's very, very interesting. But it just shows that you can use your imagination, and people will want to hear all your creativity, and you can create a book out of whatever you like. Here's the Cheshire Cat. And we know that he vanishes. This is a very cool book. It's one of my favourites. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there. I believe Miss Shah is going to be leaving you another recipe or cookery video next week. So you've got that to look forward to. And I can't believe that it is actually our last week of term. And then it'll be the summer holidays. It's gone extremely quickly. If I just get to the last page so you can see. Wow, and it's a big pop-up. There we go. I think that might have to be my favourite page of this book. And then she's made it back home. Do you think that Alice was dreaming, or do you think that she actually did go on this big adventure with the Cheshire Cat and the caterpillar and the Mad Hatter? It's an interesting question, isn't it? Anyway, I'll speak to you soon.